Doctor Who Series 12 review coming in March. Hopefully, the Doctor Who review will be out very shortly after this video, if I'm not lazy. Doctor Who Series 12 review will be happening. The Doctor Who review. Unlikely it's ever gonna happen. I have looked back on the footage, and now looking at it, I really don't like the video. Oh, hey everyone, it's FMP here. Welcome back to another video. I'm gonna have to drink a lot of this to upload this video because this is champagne, this is a glass, and this is Doctor Who Season 12 review. Everyone, it's FMP here. Welcome back to another video. In this video, I'm going to be reviewing the entirety of Doctor Who Series 12. I'm going to review each episode individually, and at the end, there'll be like an overall view of epicness. Without further ado, let's get started. Spyfall Part 1 was an incredible opening, and my initial reaction was it's already way better than all the episodes of Series 11, a very strong James Bond theme, mainly because of the tuxedos. Just the whole thing was very much based or inspired by James Bond, which was something I thought really worked, considering there's a new James Bond film coming out next month. What was that? What do you mean? November. Seriously? Alright, Chibnall's saying that the James Bond film has actually been postponed until November because of the coronavirus. I thought the whole Master reveal really worked because we haven't seen him in a while, and we don't really know his timeline. So I thought that might be explained. Hint, it was never explained this series because the Master is just a person who wants to be mysterious. I thought the episode was a very good episode, and overall I give this episode a 5 out of 5. This episode was worse. I liked the Master. The Master was good in this episode. The way he was portrayed, the way he betrayed everyone that he allied with. Also, him being a Nazi, that was kind of iffy. Thought it might stir up some controversy, but it didn't really. The whole message of this episode is that everyone's stuck to their phones, that if something happened with their phones and the phones go evil and they die because of the phones, they wouldn't care because they're still looking at their phones. Do you get the message? Phones are bad. Don't use phones that much. I thought overall this episode was good, but the companions didn't have anything to do, and the fact that Ryan stopped a bloody plane from crashing with his phone, get it? Because phones was kind of weird. And also the companions were just fugitives the entire episode, had nothing to do, and at the end of it they would just stop being fugitives. I thought it was good though, not as good as the first episode, therefore I'm giving it a 4 out of 5. Hey. This episode is one of the worst I've ever, observed, ever. I literally have one thing to say about this episode. Benny. Nikola Tesla's Night of Terror Horror Nightmares thing. It was alright. Initial reactions, I thought it was gonna be bad, because coming off of Orphan 55, I was just hoping that the rest of the series wouldn't be like that. At the start of the episode, I was kind of a bit disappointed, but by the end of it, I came around, and it probably lands directly in the middle, just as the most average episode of the entire series. It had a good story, it had a good historical topic that doesn't really get touched on. Normally, we see Thomas Edison as this incredible inventor who created the light bulb and was just this awesome guy who did a bunch of stuff. But we see a different side to that from Nikola Tesla's point of view, and I thought that was pretty good. The villain, don't even remember the name, so that just tells you how bad it was. So overall, I give this episode a 3 out of 5. Fugitive of the Judoon. It was incredible. It started off calm, just a normal episode. I thought it was going to be a bad one, honestly, because I liked Smith and Jones, but it wasn't my favourite episode ever. But this one isn't my favourite either. This episode was really good, honestly. Better than Smith and Jones. I think the Judoon they were doing the same thing, but they were used in a different way, even though they were doing the exact same thing. And the whole thing with Ruth, I think that worked really well, because Visions doesn't really make sense how she knew to crack the fire escape thing, break glass. You know, those things. You know, those things you have in a lighthouse, yeah. Jack, I thought him being back was purely for fan service, but it worked. Oh my god, that was such a good reveal. I don't really look at leaks and stuff, so I didn't even know that he was coming back, or heard rumors that he was coming back. So for me, it was a surprise. The Ruth Doctor thing, I thought that was interesting, because it can't be pre-Hartnell, because you got a TARDIS that looks like a police box. But then we've seen most of the regenerations. In fact, we've seen all of them apart from one, and I thought that was going to be explained, and then in the last episode. Ooh, I'll get onto that later. I wouldn't say it was a great use of the companions, but this episode sets up basically the rest of the series. Well, not really the rest of the series. It sets up the last 3 episodes really nicely. So overall, I give this episode a 5 out of 5. Oh, okay. Praxeus. I don't know, it was better than Orphan 55 because it was better at doing the message, but also at the same time, when the doctor says it's the plastic, that's quite jarring. Although it is like hinted at throughout the episode before that. That moment is a bit oof, like big oof. In terms of quality, I'd say this is what the average Chibnall episode is. It was just kind of filler. At the start, it was promising because the companions were actually doing something for once. The disintegration, that was pretty good. It's still on Earth. The reveal that one of the scientists is an alien is not at all like surprising, or not surprising, it's not like, oh my god, I didn't expect this, because you don't really get to know the character that much. Thanks for telling us. So overall, I give this episode a 2 out of 5. This episode, I'd say, is probably the best of the 3 episodes that are trying to put forward a message, topping Orphan 55 and Praxeus. I think Can You Hear Me is set up really well, because all the companions experience something, like, it shows you a bit of their lives and a bit of context about the effect it's having on people at home when they're not there, and I think that works quite well. Ryan's mate gets there's one bit about this I don't really like. I don't like the fingers. The fact that the fingers just detach from him, that's kind of weird, and they just extract dreams, nightmares. It's the whole god thing, that you can't defeat them, you can only contain them, I thought worked really well, even though it was kind of the whole standoff between the Doctor and the gods at the end of the episode. It felt really short. It didn't feel like as large scale as it should have been, because they're literally gods. This could have been at least hinted at in a past episode, because, I don't know, like, their gods could have said something about that. The whole Syria, Aleppo thing, it was kind of unneeded, just more Earth stuff. Overall, I think this episode was really cool, so I give this episode a 3 out of 5. The Haunting of Villa Diodati. Ratatouille. I thought most of the episode, it was very scary. It was in fact so scary, my cat lost all his hair and then ran out the room. The tension was good. I thought the characters were good. I thought the companions, Graham had something to do. That was cool. Like, I thought the whole house repeating itself was really cool, although I think it got old a bit quickly, and the fact that they kept doing it was a bit annoying. But the fact that it was like a perception filter, I thought, I mean, yeah, fair enough. The Shelleys, I thought the whole, like, the historical setting worked really well. Also, this is literally when they wrote Frankenstein, so it works really well that the main thing is a Cyberman. I know, the lone Cyberman. Thing that Jack said, don't give it what it wants, in the 5th episode. I don't think I actually said that in that bit, so I'm not saying it now. The lone Cyberman was cool. I thought the design, wow. And it works really, because it's a Frankenstein. When you think about it, this could have easily been the thing that Mary Shelley based her book on. It's like half human, half dead. Wow. But you can see the human in him. The fact that Mary Shelley later in the episode says, did you have children? Because you spared my child. And he said, yes, but I slit their throats when they joined the rebellion. What? This guy is insane. This is a good villain. Like, who is that Tim Shaw? The tooth guy? I forgot his name. But this guy's a good villain. Honestly, I see this episode as the first of 3. A lot like Utopia was, to Sound of Drums, and the other one with the Toclafane and the Master. I thought that worked really well because it rolls the whole story onto the next 2 episodes, the 2-part finale. So overall, a really good episode. However, it wasn't perfect, so I'm giving it a 4 out of 5. Ascension of the Cybermen.
Ooh.
The starting, oh my god, that was so awesome. It goes into the Cyberman's eye, and the intro plays. That was cool. Something they did was cool. That was actually cool, using editing and visual effects. That was cool. This episode was even better. Let's break down this episode. Okay, side characters, they were fine. Companions, they had something to do. They were actually in some danger as well. One stupid thing, the flying Cybermen heads. What's that about? Couldn't have they just used like the Cybermats? Cybermats? Yeah, that's what they were called. They could have just made them fly, and that would have been in keeping with past knowledge that we have of the Cybermen. However, I understand that they needed something new, although the Cybermen heads were quite stupid. The Doctor, oh my god, that was cool. She actually fought back against her companions. That's something new, that's something good. We need more of that. This episode was so good, and the Cybermen were a threat. The companions were in danger. There was one point in the episode where I thought Ryan might actually die, and I thought that was really good, because I'm starting to like these companions. As much as people are saying they're bland, boring, apart from Graham. Graham's awesome, we love Graham. But Yaz and Ryan, they're just bland, boring. I'm starting to like these characters, and I would be sad if they died. I thought the Ko-Shamus thing, that old guy, yeah, that was weird. But the Doctor went on an adventure with only one companion. Whoa, because the other two were with other people. They were split. Something we last saw in Praxeus, where they just go off on their own adventure. That was good. I like that. The Cyber Warriors were so cool. The design, amazing. Just the design for the Cybermen in this series. Wow, that was something cool. The lone Cyberman, he was a threat. He was scary. He killed people. That's not something you do if you want to be nice. So this guy is bad. The Master, he came through the portal at the end.
I thought he was in the Conservan region, though.
But he's not. Shut up.
He's not. He's back. He's back. We don't even need to know why, but he's back. He's cool. He's awesome. He's just back. Yeah. Overall, I think this episode was epic, awesome. I really liked it. I give it a 5 out of 5. No, Chibnall. No. The Timeless Children. This episode had a lot of things weighing on it. There was the Timeless Child. There was Brendan. There was the Ruth Doctor. There was the Lone Cyberman. There was the Master. There was so much that they'd given us throughout the series that we just wanted to know all of it. And in this episode, all those questions are answered, but not in the way anyone really wanted them to be. I thought that the episode was good. It was a good episode. It was so cool. The companions were doing something. I thought the companions were going to die. It was the Cybermen were a threat. The Master was a threat. The Cyber Masters were a threat. I thought that was weird. The design was also really stupid. They were a threat for like a minute and then they were gone again. The companions, they were going on their own adventure. That was cool. That was good. They went inside Cybermen. Yaz and Graham had this like heart-to-heart conversation where they were just like, oh, you're so cool, and Yaz was like, yeah, you're alright too. That's the episode trying to say, oh, goodbye Yaz, we're gonna not see you very soon. But that's not what it was doing at all, because the old guy killed him. Inside the Lone Cyberman, there's a thing called a death particle, and at the end of the episode, that went boom. But it should have been Yaz. It shouldn't have been the old guy. The old guy was like, no, I have to do it. I sent the cyber back in time. But Yaz does have to. I thought that was what the entire series was just leading up to. Yaz sacrificing herself for the greater good. But then this old guy. The Doctor's the Timeless Child. No, I don't like it. I think the fact that the entirety of Gallifreyan society is based on the Doctor and what she can do is stupid. And also Brendan Brendan, that was just a filter they put over the top of what actually happened, but for some reason it was in Ireland, and everyone was speaking Irish, and everyone was having a great old time. And I was just thinking, no, Chibnall, no! And he was just there. He was kind of like, At the end of the episode, the Doctor gets imprisoned by the Judoon, and that's leading up to the revolution. I don't think that's a good title choice, like just one letter away from literally being another episode that wasn't that great. Not a good choice, Chibnall. But apart from that, the episode could have been amazing, but the reveal that the Doctor was the Timeless Child was really stupid. So I'm going to give this episode a 4 out of 5. Number 10, Orphan 69. Number 9, Praxeus. Number 8, Can You Hear Me? Number 6, Spyfall Part 2. Number 5, The Haunting of Villa Diodati. Number 4, The Timeless Children. Number 3, The Fugitive of the Judoon. Number 2, The Ascension of the Cybermen. Before we get to number 1, I'd just like to give some honourable mentions. The Revolution of the Daleks. That hasn't come out yet, but I'd like to give it an honourable mention. Number 1, Spyfall Part 1. That's really scary. If you enjoyed this video, give it a thumbs up like that. And I'll see you in the next video, depending on what it is. Alonzi.